Hi, I'm Abby. I'll be your occupational therapist today. We're going to do some dermatome testing. So I'm going to have you close your eyes and let me know if you can feel my light touch.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so to start, we're going to do your C2. Let me know if you feel this.
Yep.
That's the occipital protuberance. We're going to move on to C3, which is the subclavicular fossa at the midclavicular line. Let me know if you can feel that. And then C4, which is the acromial clavicular joint.
Yep.
C5 is the lateral antecubital fossa.
Yep.
Perfect. C6 is the dorsal proximal phalanx of the thumb.
Yep.
C7 is the dorsal proximal phalanx of the middle finger.
Yep.
C8 is the dorsal proximal phalanx of the little finger.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, we're going to move on to T1, which is the medial or ulnar side of the antecubital fossa.
Yep.
And then we're going to move on to L3, which is the femoral condyle above the knee.
Yep.
And then we're going to move on to the medial malleus, which is L4.
Yep.
L5, the dorsum of the foot at the third metatarsal phalangeal joint.
Yep.
And then we're going to move on to S1, which is the lateral calcaneus.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to move on to testing your myotome. So to start, I'm going to have you bring your elbow into flexion for C5. Perfect. All right. And now for C6, I'm going to have you bring your wrist into extension. Great. For C7, let's start here. I'm going to have you extend your elbow out for me. Great. For C8, I'm going to have you flex the tip of your finger. Great. For T1, we're going to move your arm across your chest. And I'm going to have you lift that pinky up to the ceiling for me. Great. Okay. And then for L2, I'm going to support your knee and your heel. I'm going to have you bring your knee towards your chest. Great. Okay, and then that was for L2. So for L3, I'm going to put my arm underneath your knee, and I'm going to have you straighten your leg. Straighten it out for me. Perfect. All right. And then for L4, I'm going to support your calf, and I'm going to have you bend your ankle towards your face. So dorsiflex there for me. L5, I'm going to have you bend your big toe towards your face. There we go. And then S1 with your knee flexed and your ankle dorsiflexed. So let's see. Your knee's going to be flexed and your ankle's going to be dorsiflexed. I'm going to have you press your foot into my hand and then lift your heel off the bed. Perfect. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to move on to testing your tone. So to start, I'm going to test your shoulder flexors and extensors. So I'm going to go slow and then fast. This side. Perfect. All right, next we're going to do your elbow flexors and extenders. Perfect. We're going to move on to your forearm supinator and pronators. Perfect. Perfect. All right, and then lastly, we're going to do your wrist flexors and extenders. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to move on to your deep tendon reflexes and do a couple of other tests. So to start, I'm going to test your C5 to C6 bicep reflex. Perfect. And then your C6 to C7 tricep reflex. Perfect. And then your patellar reflex, which is L3. Perfect. And then your Achilles reflex, which is S1. Perfect. All right. We'll do the left side now. We'll start with biceps, triceps. Perfect. Your patellar. Your Achilles. Perfect. All right. Now we're going to move on to the Babinski side. I'm just going to see your normal response to me moving your tool up. Perfect. And then we'll do it on this side. Perfect. All right. And then we're going to move on to our Hoffman side. I'm going to flick your finger down. Perfect. And then this side. Perfect. All right. That completes our testing.